Nice, thank you. Going along with that, in what ways do you guys keep your ministry leaders focused on the mission of your community? So I mean, that's a real big issue. How do you keep people focused? Like, this is who we are, this is what we're about, this is where we're going. How do you do that?
I think constantly bringing this up. I mean, we're in the role of being an equipper, and so I really think that that's part of what moving away from. I think in Eastern District Conference, there's been a history of a number of churches that have been very pastor-centered, and or pastors are doing all of the a lot of the roles of ministry, and
Never.
we're trying to spread that. I know it's hard to believe.
It really is.
It happens. It happens in churches. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
I heard it's yeah.
It's shocking.
So moving that out, but also equipping, and I think part of that equipping is just keep forcing, or not forcing, but just keep that idea in front of everybody that we're moving out. We're there is a mission. There's a bigger thing that we're a part of here.
Okay. So that's the kind of that spiritual gifts discernment, or that gifting discernment is really how you're doing it.
Oh, sure. And getting once we just did something recently on spiritual gifts and encouraging people to use their gifts, and you don't have to use it here. Go in town and use it. There's a number of places you could use your gift and be living this every day.
Okay. Cool. How do you guys keep your churches focused, or your leaders focused?
I can say, I'll tell you just one sort of interesting story, and then I'll try to focus a little bit more. I was invited when I was in my 20s to pastor at my home congregation, which was very fun and also very unnerving. And one of the things that they said that they needed from me, which was really fascinating, is they said, we need you to be less of a pastor than you think you need to be.
Amen. Okay.
And more of an executive director to keep us focused and moving.
Right.
And that's a switch for how pastors are trained.
Mm-hmm.
Even in Mennonite settings, we still train pastors for priestly function.
Mm-hmm.
And I told other pastors at my home church, they said, this is what we need from you. And they said, well, that's appalling. They're not letting you lead. And I said, no. What you need to understand, what I learned to understand with them was they were saying, like, we're going to participate in some of this stuff. You need to keep us focused and moving. And the role switches from the traditional role of sort of pastor-priest function to sort of how do we keep things moving? How do we...
I mean, it almost moves you more in a priestly role, in the traditional sense of a priestly role.
Absolutely.
So that was a really healthy encounter. And I'd say for Anconia Conference congregations, one of the best things we can do is help people keep from getting distracted.
What?
Keep people from getting distracted.
What?
Do you think they get distracted?
What?
Hello, that's nice stained glass over there.
Yeah, we're here all week.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So one of the challenges has been, how do we not focus on stuff that's not important? And how do we sort of keep vision in line and help pastors to not lose it?
Yeah.
I mean, pastors lose it too. I mean, you have crazy people in congregations that pastors feel are crazy, and the rest of the congregation feels are behaving in totally appropriate ways. And sometimes we have crazy pastors as well, but
that never happens.
No, we screen them all out. So.
I'm still trying to figure out how I made the cut. That's okay.
So I think the challenge then is to help pastors stay centered, to stay on vision, and to ask them. I mean, we will regularly say, are you still sort of living out what and whether this is the right wording or not, I would argue sometimes, but are you still living out the call in this community, or are you doing something else?
Okay.
And to try to keep people on task, keep asking questions.
Okay, interesting. Thank you very much.